So Kelly, given the work you've done so far in this unit, which I think is going very well, what are some of the things you've observed and things you would wish you had done differently?
Some of the things that I wish that I would do differently next time, I think I was overambitious. I required them to do 8 clues to create, and then somebody else would find their 8 clues. I think in the future I would just make it 5 clues, because this was taking about 3 days for them to construct the map all together. So if I made it into 5 clues, I think that would go a little bit faster. I also think they struggle with the concept of dilations, so maybe I would go over dilations a little bit more prior to, because I didn't realize the struggle they had with them. It also slows them down, the dilations, so I would make the dilation the very last clue, because I would still want to include it, but make it the very last one, and that they would only have to do 1, so it wouldn't slow them down in the flow of the whole finding the president that's hidden. I also do think that I would use a little more technology. I would have the engineers first create the route and the map, and then they would use a GPS receiver to go hide their clues, and instead of another group actually constructing back to their map, they would actually just use the GPS receiver to go find those hidden clues. So.
Right. And you mentioned something about some different technology. What were you thinking?
I was thinking the GPS receivers, so I could get those, involved, and then it would tie in more with our latitude, longitude from the beginning of the unit that we were working on, like with Google Earth and stuff like that. So I think that would be a way to get that more incorporated.
Right. Were there any things that really pleased you and that you were surprised that, how the students were able to do in this unit?
Well, the beginning, when we were doing a little bit of, I was teaching them what GPS receivers were, how they can be used in everyday life. They were so excited. I was very pleased with how excited they were. They hadn't seen Google Earth, and to show them something they could use, to go visit places they had never seen before, like the Great Pyramids. I thought that was amazing. I also really, really felt like I nailed the CBL this time, the challenge-based learning intro. To get them involved with, how this affects our society. I think it was locating, finding different locations. I think by having how that affects the society, having that discussion really got them into the unit, and then having them come up with what the project could be. They just really, I think that this lesson wouldn't have been as successful without it. So I felt like they took a lot of ownership of coming up with the lesson itself.
Great, yeah. So.